what about soulmates? Because I still hear, I know it's maybe an antiquated term, but I still hear people, and frankly, I hear more females than males use this expression. There's a soulmate. My soulmate is out there somewhere. There's only one person out there who is my ideal mate. In your opinion, is that true? Does God handpick people, before they're born, and it's only this one person you could ever be happily married to? And, there are some implications in this discussion that aren't going to make every listener happy, but what do you think?
Okay, here's the very short answer with the longer explanation. I think no, there is not just one soulmate for one person in this world. Yeah,
that's where I am too.
So,
I've run across
why?
so many people, I think, since I've met you that I think, oh, what about her?
Really?
No, that has never happened. That's true. That's not true, right?
I know, but I can't believe you even dared to joke.
No. It's not
funny.
true at all. No,
I know
I'm
not.
so happy.
But
I am, frankly, so happily married. It's almost sickening.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. It can be sickening.
All right.
So the answer, first of all, too, I want to disagree with what you just said, which is you think that women have this tendency more than men. I don't think so. I think with dating, when you're dating, I think the guys equally have this, just as the girls.
Looking for the one soulmate?
The one soulmate. And maybe...
You think we're deeper than we really are.
No, and you know what? I think men are more visually oriented than women are. And I think sometimes they want her to look a certain way, more so than we do. We obviously, and here, we are so generalizing here. It's crazy. But I think we as females, we definitely want to be physically attracted to the person we date.
Sure.
But I think maybe...
But it doesn't matter as much.
No, I don't think it does. And I think for guys, you might be holding out, maybe a non-attractive girl is you think maybe she's your soulmate, but you're holding out for the one who looks like you want her to look and is your soulmate.
Wow.
So I would not say it is a female thing. I think it's across the board, male and female.
All right.
Definitely.
I'll take that.
Yes. So...
Is there only one person in the universe?
No,
you say no.
I say no, but I do, let me clarify. I do absolutely believe that God handpicked you for me.
No,
I
feel the same.
You.
I feel the same way.
I very much feel that way.
Had we not met, the big question is, now this is speculative, would there have been someone else? I probably would have been.
Yeah, I have to think so. And I think that God definitely, neither of us were believing Christians, even though we'd been raised in churches. Neither of us were believing Christians when we met. And God brought us together to him, and we grew in our relationship with God together, which is powerful. And I wasn't a Christian young woman praying to God to send me the right spouse, as my daughters do. They pray and they talk to God about this, but God still sent the right person.
Yeah,
and
I feel
so
the same way.
even before I even knew to ask, he connected us to each other. So I very much feel he was in that process. Do I feel like he has our future sons-in-law chosen for our daughters? Yes, I believe that.
I have
100%.
words. I have words for God every night about that.
You talk to him about that. Yeah.
I do not like young men.
You're going to have to let that go eventually, though,
Nope,
and let
stay away from my daughter.
two men into our family.
You've heard it here on the
eventually.
airwaves. Get anywhere near my daughter, and you will meet the wrath of Shawn.
No. Young man, I'll help you. I'll be
Actually,
on
your dad
side.
was really nice to me.
Wasn't he?
Yeah.
I know.
He was really nice to me.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. We should get him in studio because I don't get how he pulled that off.
Well, if it wasn't for my dad, we wouldn't have even met each other.
Oh, we met
so.
through your father. How
We met
creepy
through
is
my
that,
dad.
right? He
another
invited me
story.
home with a friend, and there was your picture on the wall. I thought, ooh. See, visually oriented. I just proved your point. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing, too, about is there one soulmate for one person? Things happen in marriages. A spouse dies young, dies early. Does that mean that when you remarry, that this second spouse is not, that you can't have the same depth of relationship with your second spouse because there was only one real spouse for you?
Sure.
I don't believe that. I believe that God wants to bless that second union in the case where someone is widowed. And And that would disprove the idea that there's only one person for every person in this world, in my mind. What do you think about it?
Well, I don't know.
What are your thoughts?
I think if you invite God into the process, he definitely gets involved. I do believe that you were handpicked for me. I think God arranged that. And there's no time today to go over the whole story. I think there are clear indicators of it. But I also don't believe there's just one special person in the universe that you could ever be happy with. I'm not sure. I think that's a Hollywood ideal, that you will be unfulfilled till you find that one person. The one person you're really looking for in this universe is Christ, to be honest. And that's really the only place you're going to find fulfillment. And honestly, marriages become far more fulfilling when he is involved. There's really three people in a marriage: husband, wife, and God. There is. There are stories in the Bible. Well, let me say this first. It seems to be the case that arranged marriages actually in this world survive better than the ones that come through the romantic dating process. They actually survive better, which means that there are people in this world to this day who have not met their future husband or wife until their parents choose it and line it up.
Right. And
somehow those turn into very fulfilling, happy marriages. I guess you could argue that God made the parents pick the right people or whatever it is. But okay, let's talk about Isaac and Rebekah. Right. Eleazar gets sent out to go pick a wife. I am so glad my parents didn't pick somebody to drive around the country and find me a wife. I got to find you. That was exciting to me. But Eleazar prays, right?
Right.
Whatever girl, Lord, is perfect for this boy.
Let her be the one.
Let her be the one that comes out and doesn't just give me a drink, but waters all the animals. So he puts out this fleece, as Christians like to refer to it, from the book of Gideon. And sure enough, Rebekah comes out, and so God did play a role. And it is my conviction that if you are a young person and you are in the market for a spouse, to put it in market terms, ask God. And I have tried to encourage our daughters. I don't know how that's going to play out yet because they're not married and they haven't even found their fiancés yet. But I think that if you put in front of God, I want someone that I can worship you with.
Yes.
I want someone who values you, Lord, like I value you. I want someone who has the same goals in this life as they relate to you, Lord. I think that if you ask for those things, I think God smiles. God answers prayers that are in accordance to his will. That's what Jesus taught us. And I think if you're looking for God's will to be done in marriage, that he'll definitely play a role. And so you can safely put yourself in God's hands there.
Yeah. Absolutely. And God hears those prayers, as you said, and he honors them. He wants us to be well matched in our marriages, and he wants healthy marriages where he thrives and we're able to be a blessing to the rest of the world through healthy marriages. Yeah,
I think so. So I guess the long and the short of it, we're going to run out of time today again, and there was so much that I wanted to talk about, because honestly, Paul's completely right. That marriage is, and we're referring back to Ephesians chapter 5, verse 30 onward or so, after Paul talks about human relationships and tells us that we should be learning about Christ's relationship to us. There is so much that I've learned. There is so much in marriage that I have found illuminates what I read in Scripture. Suddenly things make sense to me, and I'm not even sure I can put them all in words, but there are things that now make sense to me that wouldn't have made sense to me about God's character had I not experienced something not alike, but similar in the marriage covenant. So let me say this while we're on the air. It's just, I thank God all the time, especially when you are asleep late at night. I look at you and I thank God, like, how did I get so lucky? How did I get somebody like this who's willing to give me as a gift her whole life, and that I can use that experience to learn more about you, Lord? And I know that we get married till death do us part, but I'm hoping somehow this goes on beyond that. That when I get to heaven, I get to look you up, and I'm going to be able to do that because I'm not remarrying if you go first.
Oh, yes. Well,
again,
I'll say this for the record. I don't want you to be alone if something happens to me.
Oh, I'm good alone.
Come on.
I'm good. Men are really good alone. Actually, God said the opposite.
Not.
Right? God looked at Adam and said, it is not good for the man to be alone. And that's
Right.
probably true in many cases. It doesn't seem to be the other way around.
No.
It is not good for the woman to be alone.
We seem, and you were talking about this a few minutes ago, how statistically, you're going to go first.
Yep.
That doesn't always happen. My maternal grandmother, she had a massive brain aneurysm and she died at 62.
Wow.
And my granddad was not equipped to handle that emotionally at all. And the rest of his years were difficult for him. They were difficult. And so God gives us each other because we need each other in this life. I really believe that.
There you go.